Afternoon, students. Before you left to your various home, the last topic that we stated was the Protestant Reformation. I hope you remember that. Remember, the only the church that was there was the Roman Catholic. And when some people saw some of their practice, they break away, then they form the Protestant Reformation. Now we are coming back to our country, that is Ghana. We know that before Christianity came to Ghana, there was a religion in Ghana. At first, we used to call it the ATL, but now we call it AIL. That is African Indigenous Religion. So the main thing that we are coming to learn for this week is religion in pre-Christian Ghanaian. I'm repeating it. Religion in pre-Christian Ghanaian. So before we can discuss this one, we have to know what is African Indigenous Religion. African Indigenous Religion. African Indigenous Religion is the religion, the traditional spiritual system of African people, including Ghanaian. It was the dominant religion in Ghana before Christianity and Islam arrived in Ghana. So this religion was there before Christianity and Islam. So because of that, we will discuss the characteristics of that is Africa Indigenous Religion. That is the same as their features. The African Indigenous Religion, the first thing that we can talk about them is an unwritten and oral transmitted. No, for them, they don't have any book like the Bible for the Christianity, the Quran for the Islam. For them, they don't have anything like that. That is why we said that it's oral transmitted. Their belief and practice were passed down through stories, songs, and rituals. I hope in your various home you can give us one example of the stories, the songs, and the rituals. The stories, some you can get it from normal story books and so on. Also, because they don't have any written documents like the Bible and so on, it is the elders and the priests who are the keepers of the religious knowledge which they pass through to the new generation, since they don't have any written constitution. Again, another characteristic that you can talk about is their belief in the Supreme Being. They believe in the Supreme Being. Is the same as God when it comes to Christianity. Just that they have a different name that they used to call, that is the Supreme Being. For the air, they worship the Supreme Being through the lesser God. That is the deities and the divinities. They worship the Supreme Being through the deities and the Supreme Being. And they also give the respect to the ancestors. They also show some respect to them, which they also serve as the intermediary between the living and the dead. They also show some respect to the ancestors who serve as the intermediaries between the living and the dead. Another thing that we can also talk about it is the communal practice. Religion was a communal affair. It's not practiced by just an individual. Because when one individual does something, it affects the whole community. So it's a community affair. So another characteristic is the communal practice. That is, religion is a community affair. The rituals and ceremonies involve the whole community. When you take festival, for example, it's not an individual affair, it's a community affair. So the whole community will come together to celebrate the festival. That is why we are saying that it's a communal affair. As we said that it's a communal affair, individual spirituality was connected to community welfare. So if one individual does something good, it will bring grace to the whole community. The same thing applies. If he does something wrong, it will also affect the whole community. That is the characteristics of the air. The first one, we talk about unwritten and oral transmitted, and also talk about the belief in the supreme being, and the last one was the communal practice. I hope you are getting me before Christianity. And then we have grouped them in so many areas. The first one, we have governance and leadership. For this one, we also take your community. What I am going to say is you find it in your community. Under the governance and the leadership, the first one, we have chiefs and leaders who rule with the spiritual legitimacy. The chiefs, every community, every society, they have their own chiefs and elders. The way they install their chiefs in their community, it also involves religious rituals. It's not just one individual affair, it's about the whole community. Since we are saying that it is governed by the chief and the elders, when they are put into power, they sworn an oath before the gods, which bind them and the whole community. And the leaders, they were also seen as the intermediaries between the people and the gods. The chiefs and the elders, they will also serve as the intermediaries between the people and the gods. That is, all these ones are under the governance and the leadership. The next point that we'll talk about is the morality and ethics. I hope when I said the morality, something has come into your mind. We will talk about the taboos. Every community has its own taboos. We can talk about our own school. Our school is located at Beposo. Beposo, they don't go to farms on Tuesday. It's a taboo to go to farms on Tuesday. So when you talk about the taboo, they are the forbidden actions enforced for moral behavior. And breaking the taboos, it will bring spiritual punishment. Sometimes it will not affect an individual, but it will affect the community as a whole. Remember, the next one we are treating the morality and the ethics. So the next point, we have respect for elders, honesty, judges were the core values in the air. That is the African Indigenous Religion. As a child, we have to respect the elders. We have to be honest when we are dealing with people. And always they should be free and fair. That is, we should show justice. And the last one, as we also, they show respect to the ancestors. They have the ancestors who judge the living and the dead. So they reward good behavior and they also punish. That is why when we are pouring the libation, we recognize them when we are pouring the libation. The next point will be health and healing. Health and healing. For them, they see illness as seen as having spiritual causes. When somebody is sick, they think that it was caused by something. So normally they will see traditional healers as normally they also call them akonfoɔ or konfoɔ in Akan language. And when it comes to the healing, they combined herbal medicine with spiritual rituals. So as they are applying the medicine on you, they also do certain rituals because sometimes they think when somebody is sick, it's not, it may be something that the person have done that is causing that sickness. So they will see spiritual distance for the healing of that person. And the last one under the health and the healing is purification ceremony, cleanse spiritual pollution. For that one, something happened in the community and they have to do some purification to cleanse the community from their sin. I hope you are getting me. The fourth one, we will talk about agriculture and fertility. Agriculture and fertility. Agriculture and fertility, we have rituals ensure rainfall and good harvest. Since they believe in the supreme being, they believe that is the supreme being who is the giver of rain. So during their agriculture period, they perform rituals to ensure that there will be rain throughout their work. And in some community, their first fruits, they do something like festival to thank their God for the good harvest. The last one under how they govern before Christianity, we will talk about festivals and celebration. Festivals, I hope you can give a lot of examples of festivals that are celebrated by Ghanaian people. We have Ade Festival, Papa Festival, which was celebrated by the people of Kumewu. Festival celebrated the link between the physical and spiritual, where that is their belief. I've already given you some example of the festival. The festival also reassure community identity and values. As I mentioned, the Kumewu, their Papa Festival, if somebody said he's coming from Kumewu, we know that they celebrate the Papa Festival, and for them, you can't use them for sacrifice. And through their festival, they honor their gods, their ancestors, and they also ask blessing for their community as a whole. This is how the air governed themselves before Christianity. Now, we are going to give some examples of the air practice in Ghana. Examples of air practice in Ghana, that is the African Indigenous Religion. In my teaching, I mentioned libation. When I mention it, I'll give you the meaning. The libation It's when they are pouring water or alcohol on the ground to honor the ancestors and the gods. Normally, when they are pouring the libation, they start with the supreme being. You can start it with maybe the gods and the ancestors. Always it starts from the head to the bottom. And through the libation, you can put your petition to the gods. That is your request. The second one, we have the naming ceremonies. Normally, people are named after the day in the week that they were born. And sometimes too, they are named after relatives in their family. Naming a child normally said that is based on the day of the week born, connected the child with a spiritual force. So as I said, the child will be named on the day that he was born within the week, or after sometimes a member of his or her family. That is all. Then we will come to the purification rites. That is cleansing ritual to remove spiritual pollution. Sometimes when something happens to the community, they may think that it is caused by maybe somebody have done something wrong. That is why they were suffering. So that sometimes they will do some purification to remove that spiritual pollution in that community. Then we will come to funeral rites. Those funeral rites, they do celebrate it to honor the death and ensure safety passage to the spiritual realm. You know, they believe in life after death. They believe that after here, when you die, you go to another world. So the funeral that they will perform for you, they will do it to honor you to ensure safety passage to the spiritual realm. And the next one will be that drumming and dancing. Sometimes people express their belief through music and dance. Through music and dance, they communicate to their divinity, to their supreme being. Dance like Adowa from and so on. We can add more to it. Through drumming and dancing, they express their communication with their divine. The last one is sacred growth. That is forest protection as sacred space where gods dwell. Sometimes they will reserve some forests for the gods. And for that matter, nobody will go there to do anything. In that way, they are protecting the forests. Like in Beposo, as we said, we don't go to the farms on Tuesday. Sometimes people go there, but nothing happened to them. But what about if something happened to you? But they are doing it in order for the forest also to have a resting day. As God created heaven and earth, He used one day that for Christians to observe it as the Sabbath day. Thank you very much. I hope that you understand it. For your assignments, how do you think the air expresses on community affected how Ghanaians live together? I'm repeating the question again. How do you think The emphasis on community affected how Ghanaians live together. Thank you very much.